I mentioned last video that we're going to talk about the overly religious person and how, to me, that's a red flag. I don't mean that there aren't people that are non-dysfunctional that are overly religious. In and of itself, it's not a red flag. I know plenty of those people. I was raised Catholic. I know plenty of those people. However, you get someone who now you've seen, they're toxic, or maybe you're getting to know someone, and this has happened. Because they will demonstrate the overly religious because they believe that's demonstrative of them being a good person. It's an easy thing for them to do. Get on their knees and pray at night. Get on their knees like this on the bed, grown men. This has happened 4 times. Grown men saying a prayer in the night, a prayer in the morning. I told you guys this, the shrine with the holy water and the palm and the pictures of the dead relatives and doing the whole thing every morning. And yet they're treating you the way, think of your own story. We don't even have to go into the disastrous things they do to people. I would rather take someone who's not overly religious but treats people with kindness. I don't care if you go to church. I've gone out with a person that was toxic. He went to church 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7:30 Mass. He thought that made him I think he knew he was full of BS and was treating women terribly. I think he was on his 5th marriage. He was divorced when I had met him. I think now, in other words, years later, I heard through I think he's on his 5th marriage. They know when they're misbehaving. And oftentimes these acts they're making themselves feel better. Grace at dinner, that's another one. So you want to say grace before we take a bite of food, yet you just lied, cheated, stole, gaslighted, triangulated. What about being a good person so you don't believe in any of the tenets of the religion? You just want to act like you are of the religion so that people can think that you're this good person. And religion amongst a person, we all know that doesn't make someone a good person. And overly religious doesn't make you I'm not saying that. Like I said, please make sure I'm clear. I know a lot of people that are very religious and they're very good people. But just because, the shrine with the dead relatives and taking you to church is another one with their family. You meet everybody. The mother, the father, the sisters, the brothers, and you think, well, it's got to be serious. He brought me to church with his whole family. This is where they go to church. So you think, oh, that's serious. Not to them. It would be to a non-disordered person who's not trying to manipulate you with this act of supposed benevolence, taking you this big deal. Because that's a big deal. Happened to me more than once. We went every Sunday. We drove an hour. The whole family eats after. It was like 30 people. What message did you get? We're adults. He's in his 50s. He was just manipulating me to make me think it was a big deal. And they probably have met many women that he's done that with. So we go through and we see that and we get all wrapped up in, wow, he took me to quoting the Bible. Quoting the Bible. They'll do any of these things and anything else you can probably think of right now to convince you that they're being a devout, good Christian, Catholic is what I've seen, and whatever religion you are. If they are professing to be so devout in that religion, yet not following in the tenets of that religion, which if there's one thing I've learned from researching religions, that the tenet of be good to others is a common one we all share, regardless of what you think after death. Reincarnation, be good while you're here. You don't want to come back as a bug, be good while you're here. You want to go to heaven, not be good while you're here. You want to, okay? We all have it. Be good. Okay? So you see that they're not being good, not to you, not to other people behind their back. They're talking about, but they're faking all this and all of this religious stuff. That makes them even worse because you're lying with your behavior about religion. That's the biggest red flag I could imagine. Right? So none of anything you're doing with the church stuff means anything to you then. And yes, that's the answer. Not to a narcissist. They're playing a role. And they think, especially if they think you'll put stock into being religious, they will play that up. Again, raised Catholic. I'm not saying I go to church every Sunday. I'm lacking. But there have been different times in my life where I did. And if I crossed paths with someone and they knew that, oh yeah, they want to take me to their church. They want to pray at night and pray in the morning and say grace at dinner and go to church 3 times a week. Now, maybe they do that to convince themselves they're good. Maybe it was a show for me. Maybe it's a show for every girl. I think it's a show for every girl they ever had. I think that's what they do. That's their move. Again, insert your own pronoun. Mine is he for a romantic partner, so my stories tend to follow that, but make the story your own by changing whatever pronoun. But I want you to be awake to that, because I fell for it. Four different people. 4 different people in the last 18 years of being divorced. 4 different people that I dated faked being this. And you might say, well, it might not be fake to them. They might believe. If you believe in the tenets of religion like that, you are not, I do, and I'm not lying in my life or cheating in my life or talking bad behind people's backs or whatever it is that they do. Theft, stealing your idea at work and taking credit for it, anything. Any of these things are against that. So no, they weren't that. Yet they were presenting that. And what did I do? I ignored it. I was like, wait a minute, they just did this and this to me. But I never said, it's such a dichotomy. How can it be the same person? Instead, I would ignore the red flag and say, they're a good person because of the religion stuff, and I'd say they were misguided. They had a bad day. They made a wrong choice. Only to find out, no, all of the wrong that I was seeing really did add up by the end of it, and that is more their personality than this fake show they're putting on of religion. I point like there's a board, and I wrote on it. So they're faking all of the good. And if they're mistreating you, you guys, that is the red flag. Those are the red flags you have to notice. You cannot take the goodness that they're trying to demonstrate with the religion as not a red flag. It also could be. It could be a move. I want you to pay attention to this because it's very easy to get sucked in by someone because it's a big thing they put on. It's a big show they put on. Don't let yourself be fooled. I want you to pay attention to what they're doing, how they're treating you, how they're treating others, how they're living their life. And do not let religion fool you. I'll see you Friday.